Welcome to chapter 26 of the book of Proverbs. Wisdom will guide you from folly. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. And the wisdom of man, the wisdom of God, and the wisdom that man receives from God, either what you would call it, the wisdom of a person that has tremendous talents in certain fields, such as music or like a Beethoven, mathematics, like a Einstein, or a spiritual wisdom like Solomon and other people. And the last is the one I would like to have, that kind of wisdom that will guide you from folly. You can have the wisdom, first wisdom, be really great in math or certain subject and fall into folly. We'll start off in the Greek, and then we'll go into the chapter. Osperthrosos in amito, ke osper eatos in theri, utos uk estin aphroni timi, as dew in harvest, and as rain in summer, so honor is not to a foolish one. Now, I'm not a farmer. I suppose the moisture in the harvest would not be good, and rain, so therefore honor is not good to a foolish one. It's a waste of, doesn't help him at all. It's harmful, actually, as birds and sparrows spread out to fly, so an vain oath shall not come unto one thing. So you're making an oath that it's vain, it's not something that you're really going to go through with. It won't come into anything, just be gone, zip, as the birds fly away. As a whip to a horse, and a spur to a donkey, so a rod to a law-breaking nation. I feel that that's what our nation needs today, the United States, maybe your nation also. Do not give an answer to a foolish one according to that one's folly. If he's a fool, and he has living in folly, making all kinds of bad mistakes, and you can see it, then don't answer him, lest you should become likened to him. But answer to a foolish one to the folly of that one, lest he should appear wise unto himself. Well, Mark Twain said, don't argue with a fool, because once you get down to his level, he has way more experience than you do. But the second part, answer to a foolish one to the folly of that one, and sort of like placating the foolish one. Oh, well, if he believes this junk, then then let him believe it. The ones sending a word through a foolish messenger shall cause scorn from his own ways, sending something that's through a person that's not reliable. Remove the goings of legs, and I believe he's talking about the actions in Proverbs, from out of the mouth of foolish ones. One who binds up a stone in a sling, so in the slings they let it go and the stone goes flying. But if you tie the stone in, it's not going anywhere. It's useless. And that's basically what he's talking about here, is likened to giving glory to a foolish one. It's not going to help. It's not going to go anywhere with him. Thorn bushes germinate in the hand of the intoxicated. So drunkard is the idea of harming himself, hurting himself. And servitude in the hand of foolish ones. All the flesh, excuse me, of foolish ones is tossed much by a storm, for their ecstasy is destroyed. They think they're understanding everything, but yet once they're destroyed, they find out that their ecstasy of thinking they have all the answers isn't the case. As a dog, whenever it comes upon its own vomit, and that's a quotation of 2 Peter 2:22, and should be detested, so a foolish one returning to his own evil, unto his own sin. And Peter is talking about that, about a person who had the Holy Spirit within them and walked away from God, returning to his own vomit. I beheld a man seeming to be wise unto himself. He thought he was really it, thought he was an Einstein. However, a foolish one had more hope rather than he. So if you think you have all the answers, then the foolish one is better. The lazy one says when being sent into the way, a lion's in the ways, and in the squares are murderers. He doesn't want to go to work. He'll find any excuse. As a door turns upon the hinge, so the lazy one turns upon his bed. I love these. The lazy one, hiding the hand in his bosom, shall not be able to bring it unto the mouth, because he's lazy, won't even be able to feed himself, basically, is sort of what it's saying. The lazy one appears wiser to himself in fulfilling, transmitting a message, and sort of like talking a lot is, he appears wise because he's doing a lot of talking, but it's just nonsense. As the one holding the tail of a dog, so the one setting himself over a stranger's case could be bitten if you're over something you know nothing about and you get yourself involved in it. Dangerous place to be, holding a tail of a dog, getting bit. As the ones needing healing propound words unto men, and the first one meeting the word shall be tripped up. That is, he's not really in the condition to propound anything, and everything he's propounding is BS. And the one meeting first will be tripped up because it's just a bunch of BS. Thus are all the ones lying in wait for their own friends, and that's not good. And whenever they should be caught in the act, they say, "Oh, in playing, I acted." So that's, you're hoping to harm somebody that's a friend for whatever reason, jealousy or anger of something he did. And then if you're caught by that person, then, you try to ignore it and say, well, that's really not the case. I was just messing around. Famous line in a movie, Tombstone, where Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo earlier when he was drunk wanted to fight with Holliday, and then didn't. And then when Holliday was facing him, Johnny Ringo said, "I was just fooling." And Doc Holliday says, "Well, I wasn't." With much wood, fire flourishes, but where there is not a man at variance with others, a fight is stilled. Fire flourishes, but yet a man that's calm stills a fight. A grate for coals, and wood for a fire, and a reviling man for a disturbance to a fight. The coals will light the fire and the wood, and the reviling man with a fight. Words of mischievous ones are soft, but these beat into the inner chambers of the intestines. They may say something soft, but if it's mischievous, then it definitely harms the other person. Silver given with treachery is as a potsherd esteemed. Basically, it's as junk with treachery. If you're giving something valuable through treachery, it's not anything good. Smooth lips cover a distressed heart, saying something nice to somebody. An enemy weeping with his lips, weeping assents to all things with his lips. Okay, he's an enemy. He's just pretending, but in the heart he contrives treachery. If the enemy should beseech you with a great voice, do not yield to him, for there are 7 wickednesses in his heart. The one hiding his hatred stands together with treachery, and he conceals the things of his own well-known sins in the Sanhedrin, which is sort of the government, and somebody that's got a bad view, bad reason to be there in the government, to get things, not to do things correct, have treachery in his heart, conceals his own sins. He's a bad man, a bad person. We see these people in government. Why they dig up things, cause problems. Then they just enjoy doing these things, digging up problems, especially lying about another person when it's not true, just to destroy them. The one digging a pit for his neighbor shall fall into it, and the one rolling a stone rolls it upon himself. And that would be against the neighbor. A lying tongue detests truth, and an open mouth makes commotion. A lying tongue and somebody that talks too much makes a lot of problems for a lot of people, a lot of commotion. Our next chapter, become wise. And we find out how to do that in chapter 27. Hope you'll join us in the next video seminar. Until then, God bless.